Dear Mr. President, first of all, on behalf of the Prosecutor General of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my gratitude to Mr. Prosecutor General of the Republic of Cuba and relevant officers and other members of the preparatory committee of the meeting for inviting and welcoming us to the 14th International Meeting on Criminal Science 2018 second event on legality, law, and society. I look forward to the successful discussion on agenda of the meeting under your able guidance and assure close collaborations with you for its successful progress. Mr. President, our delegation means that the meeting will be important occasions for sharing experiences in improving the role and responsibility of the judicial officials, and by so legally ensuring the healthy, safeguard, and safe development of the society. Regarding to the financial crimes like money laundering and financial terrorism, these are issues of the both national and international importance. In the DPR Korea, where everything works to serve for its people, the control of the money laundering and financing of the terrorism is an important work in safeguarding the people-centered socialism of our own style and protecting the property of the country and society and people's interests. The first anti-money laundering law of the DPRK was adopted in 2006, and it has gone through 2 revisions and supplementations to the result, what is now named the Law of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Anti-Money Laundering and Combating Financing of the Terrorism since 2016. Today, this law, together with the 11th criminal law, has become an important legal instrument in preventing money laundering. These legal measures for anti-money laundering were followed up by corresponding structural measures for implementing the law. Financial Instrument Agency was established in 2014 and National Coordinating Committee on Anti-Money Laundering and Combating of the Financing of the Terrorism in 2015. The NCC consists of 11 national institutions, including the Central Prosecutor's Office and Central Court, Ministry of Finance, Central Bank, General Customs Bureau, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and so on. It is carrying out the work of the anti-money laundering as one of the state affairs. We also give importance to collaborations with international organizations and individual countries in the field of the anti-money laundering and financing of the terrorism. After the admission as an observer to Asia-Pacific Group on money laundering, one of the regional bodies of the Financial Action Task Force on money laundering, the DPRK has constantly developed cooperative relations with it. We are willing to actively develop cooperative relations with other countries on the basis of these past experiences. Next, I'd like to move on to terrorism. It is a constant stand of DPRK to fight against all kinds of terrorism and its financing. In this regard, the DPRK has joined international conventions against terrorism, including the International Conventions for the Suppression of the Financing of Terrorism and the United Nations Convention against Transnational Organized Crime. The DPRK will continue to faithfully carry out its work and tasks and duty in rooting out all kinds of terrorism and ensuring peace and security on Korean Peninsula and of the world. In May 2017, the vicious terrorist gang was detected and arrested in DPRK. The terrorist was infiltrated into DPRK by the United States with the aim to committing the terrorist attack against our supreme leaders by means of biochemical materials. This is again reveals the insidious nature of the U.S., which is the leader of the terrorism. The root of the terrorism is the constitutional refusal and extreme insolence and interference of internal affairs for the change of the regime of the other countries and states sponsor terrorist plots. No problem can be solved without clarifying this factor. Likewise, it is as absurd as building a castle in the air to fight against the terrorism without clarifying its factor. In this point of view, the international community should first clarify the root of the terrorism, and countries should be attentive to the U.S. moves for misusing others as sacrifice of the so-called Anti-Terrorism Act, frequently violating the UN Charter and the international laws. Finally, I'll mention about the human rights. We believe that it is a pressing issue to respect the sovereignty of the countries and ensure the people's right to life, existence, education, and culture. Talking about human rights, apart from it, it is no more than a paper argument. The government of the DPRK, a socialist country which holds the Manifesto Juche idea as its guiding principle, take it as the state policy to bear the responsibility for guaranteeing and continuously improving the human rights of its citizens. In this respect, our country is free from unemployed, illiterate, homeless, and public nuisance like mob violence and drug addict. The people in our country, although their lives plain, are equally well off without any worries about their future. The U.S. behaving itself as the international adjudicator for the human rights. But in the U.S. society, approximately 30 million are employed, 35 million live below the poverty line, and 20 million are in prison, and 70 million are undereducated. The situation is no better than in Europe as well. However, some of these European countries, more exactly the Western countries, blame other countries for their human rights situation and all of this and that, like guilty party and filing the suit first. The government of the DPRK is fully performing its role in global field of the defending human rights, and it has faithfully carried out its duty by acceding to the Universal Human Rights Conventions and submitting the implementation or report to the UN for assessment and so on. In the future, we will fulfill our role for guarantee the human rights and further strengthen the cooperation with all the countries of the world. I and our delegation look forward to hearing good experiences and opinions from other delegations of different countries here. Thank you. Thank you very much.